All right, here is the text. It's a very short Gayatri hymn, again from Somahuti Bhargava, same Bhargava. And let me put it in front of me, it's a bit shifted. So, again, very direct diction. There is nothing to ponder about upon. We have an invocation of Agni directly. Shreshtham, it starts with this word, the most glorious. Shreshtham yavishtha bharata, Agne dyumantam abhara, vaso puruspraham raim. O fire, O youngest power, fire of the bringers, Bharata, prince of the treasure, bring to us a wealth, the best, made all of light and packed with our many desires. You can see that Sri Aurobindo is using word desire in totally different meaning. Yeah? It's not the desire in the post-Vedic understanding. It's an interesting shift of the meaning of desire, which took place over time. Desire wasn't so bad at the beginning. Desire was a search for the truth, for the betterment, for enjoyment, true enjoyment. Why it was so? Because when we study the social development, psychology of social development from Sri Aurobindo, we will see that the first ages, symbolic age, was all about the spirit. So every desire was meant to be kind of spiritual, or bringing more spiritual presence, or justifying these forms of existence in the eyes of the spirit. So in a way, it wasn't that bad as it was later. Later, the desire became very individualistic, egoistic, and finally the lower pleasures kind of became an obstacle for the path to the truth. Maybe this would be a good answer to that question on the Katha Upanishad, which we had. In the Katha Upanishad, that pleasure that is already of egoistic nature. No more of this divine desire of the symbolic age, of the Vedic age. So my interpretation, O Agni, bring to us the most luminous glory and wealth, much desired, Puruspraham. O Vaso, luminous dweller within the substance. I'm using Sri Aurobindo's translation of Vaso, the youngest offspring of Bharatas. Bharata with long eyes, you see here in the text, is the one who is derivated or derivation from Bharata, Bharata Shota. And Bharata of Shota is the, as you know, later in the mythology, that was the first son, yes, of, we read it, the story from Kalidasa, Shakuntala. She brought Bharata as a first king and so on. But that is, I think that myth is of a later origin. Bharata in the Veda is actually identified Bharata as the offspring of those who bring the divine, I guess, bring the divine presence into manifestation. So they are bringers. Sri Aurobindo puts them as the bringers, yes, with capital B. What they bring the presence of the divine, or the light of the divine consciousness into manifestation. And they are the cause or the parents of the fire, because they kindled the fire here. We can say that Bharatas are the souls, yes, who kindle the fire here, flame in manifestation. This epithet for Agni will be always used, Bharata, with long R. And then later the whole India is called Bharata, Bharatam, and kind of showing the embodiment of the spirit, actually. The result of those ages of sages and saints and rishis and seers who were bringing the spiritual presence into the atmosphere, into the physical world. And that's why India is so charged with this presence. That's why she is Bharatam. Yeah? She is the carrier of that spirit. So bring to us Shreshtham, the most luminous glory, Dyumantam, having light. Yeah? Puruspraham, much desired, Raim, wealth. Raim is shining wealth. Usually the wealth and the riches in the Rigveda symbolically representing the substance charged with this spiritual consciousness. So when the substance, when the being, these are the treasures, yes, start shining, become perfect, beautiful, all luminous, that means that the substance itself is already transformed or influenced by the spiritual presence. So bring to us this result of spiritual transformation, much desired, full of luminosity, most glorious. O Yavishtha, or the youngest one. Why he is the youngest? Do you have any idea why he is the youngest? Agni? All ideas are good.
He was the last of the gods left here on earth, and therefore the youngest.
You mean brought to earth?
Brought to earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. I also thought the same. Or is any other? There are more.
The offspring. He's the offspring of those who bring.
But why
of those who bring the divine presence, he is the offspring, and
right.
therefore the youngest.
The youngest among all the other divine beings, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, this is the same what Kinshuk said, yes? Only in other words, that he is the last who was brought, yes? From all
So the psychic presence came last, right? The psychic presence was brought. Afterwards, it was discovered. So in that sense, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, also possible. All forms, all thoughts are possible. And if you don't put it on the scale of time, because you are measuring it by the scale of time, who was first, who was next, and that's how you consider is to be the youngest. But without this, the youngest can be differently measured, not on the scale of time, but on the scale of quality. That means, yeah?
Agni is also leading to all the other divine like it's what is in psychic that leads to other divine qualities. So maybe that's why it's the youngest, like it's like this child which is calling everybody.
Yeah, you're saying the same but with another language, with another angle. Very good. I was thinking Anna Gita Shri for the last one.
I was thinking of the same what Kinshuk said, because there was Varuna Mitra.
Yeah.
all these gods before, and then after them, the last one or the youngest one was Agni. So I was thinking in that respect also, after Indra.
Yeah. In the hymn to the, now I will tell me one more thought about this. In the hymn to the dawn, it is said that Agni is, the dawn is Yuvati Purani. She is young and ancient young. So there is a kind of contradiction for the scale of time. Yeah. So knowing that, I was thinking that Yavishta, the youngest, means the purest energy. Yeah. The most how to say, the most powerful in youth and regeneration of everything into the youth, into the divine properties. So it has that overwhelming, why young at all mentioned for the immortal being? Yeah? Young doesn't make sense if the being is immortal. It's immortal already, it's never ending, never was born. But he's the youngest in its energy. That means the most, how to say, energetic, the most inexhaustible,
Forceful?
forceful, powerful, like children are. Yeah, they cannot exhaust their energy. They run the whole day. They are never tired, and always towards the future. That's what Mother defines as never satisfied with what he achieved. He moves forward, yeah, towards the progress. And in that sense, he's there.
Children are also pure. This pure energy in children, it reminds me of that when you were describing Agni, and like these small children who are just born and they are growing towards the future, and like as they grow, they grow out of that purity and then they reach it back again. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, to be ever young, Mother says, and never to be satisfied with what you achieved. I think this is Agni. Yeah, it cannot be satiated or cannot be satisfied, cannot be, it's always growing. More you put into it, more it burns. So, and also Agni itself, if you look at the etymology of word Agni, it is that, who leads forward, as Yaska would say, agre nayati iti Agni. But it's amazing that this fits with the idea of Agni itself as Aj, from root Aj. His Vahana is Aja. Aja is the goat, the ram, that lamb, yes, that innocent lamb is the psychic being. Yeah. So this ram or goat or Arius, if you want, in the kind of Rashi's scale of Jyotisha, he is the moving forward. Ajah, from root aj, to go forward, to lead forward. Agre nayati, he leads forward, yes, Yaska says. But it fits with root aj, to move forward, to drive forward. He's a driver. And that's why he's Yavishta. He's always young, yeah? Because he always drives forward, non-stop.
Aries is also the first month of the astrological year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And therefore, in that sense, it's the youngest.
Yeah,
and it is the sign of fire.
And also among these, yes, among the nakshatras, Kritika was first, and that is fire. Later it changed into Ashwini, and then later, when there was a
Various.
shift in time. But if you read the Taittiriya Brahmana Kritika will be the first.
Vladimir, just one small question.
Yes.
So spriham means desire, is it, in that earlier verse?
Right.
Okay.
Sprihayati is to desire. 10th class.
That word still exists and it means
Mhm.
desire, actually. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, interesting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mano aratih ishata devasya martiyasya cha parshitasyah utadvishach. Let not the force that wars against us master the god and the mortal. Carry us beyond that hostile power. There are footnotes. And the mortal, or against us, God and mortal, overmaster us. So meaning this against God and mortal. I'm putting it literally. Maybe it will help, maybe not. So my is always additional. May arati, we will speak about this word more, never possess us, neither of God nor of mortal. I'm translating literally. Interesting, yeah? A bit different. Protect us and carry us over the field of its dualizing hate or hostility. Dvishach. Dvit is also, could be translated as a hate or dualizing power, or the hostile power, enemy. Over the enemy is simple. But over that enemy, what enemy? Of arati, enemy. So arati generates some kind of dvish. Interesting word, arati. There are two words, arati and arati in Vedic Sanskrit. And this arati means not giving. From root ra, to give, to bestow, to sacrifice. So the power which is not giving itself. Today I was reading in the morning Sri Aurobindo speaking on the sacrifice. What an amazing passage. I have to get it for you. Wait a minute, 1 second, I will find it. I think it is somewhere even open for me. I was reading one hymn of Gautama Rahuganam, and he says here on the Vedic sacrifice, the Vedic sacrifice is, Sri Aurobindo says, let me project this, that you see it. It will help to read with me. The Vedic sacrifice is psychologically a symbol of cosmic and individual activity. Become self-conscious, enlightened, and aware of its goal. The whole process of the universe is, in its very nature, a sacrifice, voluntary or involuntary. It's self-fulfillment by self-immolation. To grow by giving is the universal law. To grow by giving is the universal law. That which refuses to give itself is still the food of the cosmic powers. Even if you don't want to give anything, it will chew you up. The eater eating is eaten. You remember at Taittiriya we studied. Is the formula pregnant and terrible in which the Upanishad sums up this aspect of the universe. So I will stop here. Just this idea that there is only one way forward in the universe. It is giving oneself. So arati is the power which is not giving. It is something of self-preservation, as we always speak about, what is that word? Not preservation, but
Survival?
yeah, survival. And there is another. Survival is, yeah, it's when you are threatened. It will come. It's a very common and very popular word nowadays that we all think about, yeah. That we need to preserve ourselves. We need to preserve our way of being. And this is actually partially arati, which doesn't want to give itself to the divine. It wants to keep itself to itself. Huh?
Is it defend?
No. It will come. The whole conference was sustainability. This is the word. It's a very tricky word. I tried to criticize this in this conference on sustainability. They looked at me as if I am an enemy. Came to the conference on sustainability and started with this word. But it is a wrong word. So how can you sustain yourself if you are changing? And if you give, you have to give yourself. How can you sustain yourself? So you have to give yourself, forget about yourself, give yourself to this movement of the divine, and then everything will be realized. Today I was also listening and reading together the chapter 1 of the human cycle. I started to do this, was inspired from yesterday, our talk. And what Sri Aurobindo does there, it's, well, I will speak about this later, maybe, in a more appropriate time. So here this arati, force which is not giving itself, trying to preserve, sustain itself, selfishness. In the Gita, Shri Krishna speaks about this also, the one who cooks for himself and enjoys this enjoyment which is given to all for himself. He is the thief. The idea of the thief who lives for himself, yeah, who takes the divine properties for himself to aggrandize his own selfishness against others, though he was supposed to be part of the chain, supporting others, yeah, allowing this delight to flow through all, and he is taking it only for himself. In the Veda, there is one deity who does it, or not one, there are many of them, the Asura, yeah, Vritra. What Vritra does, he takes all the soma onto himself. Yeah? He sucks all the soma from the manifestation and he becomes full of this delight, but only for himself. He stops the flow of the divine delight in the manifestation and it dries up. So what Indra does, he kills him, and that soma streams are streaming down and feeding the manifestation again. Yeah? So taking all onto yourself as if you are the most important is exactly the sign of this arati. So may arati not possess us, ishatan, interesting, nach. May this force of selfishness and self-preservation and sustainability not overtake us, of the God or of the mortal. Interesting. You know? And I leave it as it is in the text, a little bit different from Sri Aurobindo, because I believe that this arati can be of the God and can be of the mortal. Sri Aurobindo speaks about egoism of the gods. Yeah? Gods are not non-egoistic beings. Yeah? They are typal beings and they have their own priorities to fulfill their own desires, needs, and so on. they are not easily self-giving. That's why we have to kind of propitiate them, kind of bribe them to come down to us. We have to offer them something, otherwise they don't come. Yeah? They need something. What is there in that for me, they may ask? Yeah, what is there for me when you want me to come down? Give me something. So we prepare for them the delight of our existence. We distill it as soma and offer it to these powers. Then they come. And when they come, interestingly, they bring more delight. Unknowingly, they bring more capacity to enjoy higher delight. And so we need that capacity. That's why we bribe them down. So there are many passages which actually confirm this idea. Pur devasya vasavo martiyasya. Interesting. Pur devanam vasavo martiyanam. I don't remember. Martiyasya or devasya? Martiyana, of many gods. So create for yourself the city which will be of the divine, so to say, steady in the divine and the mortal world. Yeah? So create for yourself, and Buddha was saying in Dhammapada, create for yourself an island which neither gods nor mortals can disturb. Yeah? So it's something like create. Why it is so? Because these forces are also having some kind of egoistic nature. Mortals and the gods, they, when they come to us, they try to possess us, and we become their kind of tools or instruments, instrumental to their action. You remember in this beautiful aphorism, Sri Aurobindo says that Varuna, give me the purity, yes, Indra, give me the strength, and you, Kali, destroy all my relations and dependence on these godheads. Why? Because there is a beautiful aphorism. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly the words. One has to read it. Because of this dependence which they create, because they have egoistic nature, even these great godheads, and we become kind of, we are not free anymore. We have to be totally free to give ourselves. Yeah, and when we do, we should not depend neither on gods nor on the mortals. We have to be fully independent. Freedom of the Supreme Lord has to be realized in our being. And only then we can give freely without dependence on any force. Though we depend on them. So that's why they are both mentioned. Parshi, interesting word, also Vedic, it's from the aorist. Lead us or carry us over that dualization. Why dualization? Arati and dualization are connected because the moment we become conscious of our selfishness, we become double. We are divided. Yeah, because there is the world and me immediately. And the world is an enemy, and my I have to take advantage and I have to deal with it for my sake. So this is the duality. This is what creates all the dealings with the world. So carry us over that dualization of that hostility. What I'm doing here, I am unfolding something of the psychological and linguistic content. So dvish, dualizing hostility, arati, not giving, yeah, deva, luminous being, and martya, the mortal being. Literally, it is there. The arati should not possess us of the god and of the mortal. And Sri Aurobindo translates and puts it interestingly against us, God and mortal. So he puts it all together. The Arati should not possess neither us, nor gods, nor mortals. Basically, you see how we came to the same point. Yeah? I just started from negative side of the God's selfishness and mortal selfishness. And now Arati should not possess neither gods nor mortals with selfishness. So basically, it's the same translation, only it looks at it from different points. Do you see it? Yeah. It's an amazing thing. This is something which creates in us this, if we are freely thinking, this capacity of the higher mind not to be bewildered by one statement as against the other, because all statements are leading to the same truth. Only we should see how. There are certain steps in between which are missing, but once we find them, then we understand better. So non-giving should not possess neither us, nor divine beings, nor mortal beings. Carry us over the duality, that duality of Arati, to another shore. Protect us and carry us over the field of its dualizing hostility better than hate. I left hate because Sri Aurobindo uses hostile power to have some variety.
Vladimir,
Yeah.
how can the gods not be giving? I don't understand. Isn't it the nature of the gods to give? How can it be not giving?
You remember in the story of the mother's creation, she has several stories. And in one of them, when the four first emanations fell into their opposites,
Yeah.
she was looking for another power in the Supreme to precipitate those fallen emanations. And she discovered, or kind of brought forward the gods, these very gods. And when they looked into that abyss into which they had to plunge, they said, no, we don't go there. Sorry, this is not for us. So the gods refused to go down to redeem the fallen emanations. And then she looked deeper into the Supreme and found the power which was greater than the fallen emanations. The power of love, that's what the psychic being is, which agreed to plunge and to redeem the fallen emanations, bring them back to their self-awareness. So now look, the gods were created before the psychic being was found, the psychic force. And when it entered down, so what happened? The gods are already there in their heavens, not coming down, don't want to be embodied here in the body. It's not their priority. But they are dragged down by the psychic, by Yajamana. Yajamana starts the sacrifice. He needs their support and force and their knowledge and their light and their power, their vastness, purity. So it will start calling to them. And since it is stronger and greater power than fallen emanations and than the gods, that it has power over them. That is the divine will, what Sri Aurobindo calls Agni. It commands them to come down. It brings them down, and is, as it is said in the Veda, it sacrifices the gods here. Sacrifices the gods. Agni sacrifices them. Interesting, yeah? He brings them down. They don't want to come.
Thank you.
Then psychic is more powerful than all the godheads, and
Yes.
it can directly reach out to the Supreme without.
It is the representative of the Supreme. Yes, absolutely. In the individual form. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Feels
Nice to
good.
know. Yes. So and we are the heroic force. Psychic is called Nri Nara, the heroic power of the soul, which decided to actually come into this darkness, take on itself the darkness. Somebody asked Sri Aurobindo actually, how is this world? Look at this world. Where is this grace you're talking about? Do you see that everything is done in accordance with the divine plan or the divine grace? It's such a misery. And he was speaking in the time of the Second World War, that even if grace appears, it's very casual and very irregular. And Sri Aurobindo says, I will speak to you from my experience. And he says, there is the divine grace in everything. Only you look at the world that the divine grace is only good and giving you only success and only, honey, and you will be always happy and nothing else. It's not like that. Because to move forward in consciousness, to progress, the device was chosen of light and darkness and their alternation. It is the way forward, it seems. We can't move forward otherwise. It is these two mothers of Agni who is growing. Yeah? The two mothers, the dawn and the night, the light and the darkness, the day and night, they're two mothers feeding the flame within. There is no other way to move forward. So if you look at this proposal, then you understand why we have this darkness, suffering, ignorance, because it is a part of the engine to move forward in consciousness.
Vladimir, this is exactly like Samudra Manthan, isn't it?
Absolutely.
One pulling in one direction and the other pulling in another direction.
Absolutely. Otherwise, how do you churn and produce new qualities?
Okay.
But as we grow and we do sadhana, we start like Diti and Aditi both gets one in the psychic, right? In their commands, like, yeah.
You wanted to justify the psychic, first of all. The rest is just instrumental. Yes, absolutely. What is interesting, the Veda is so uniquely precise. In the Brahmanas, you will read that heaven and earth are the parents of the praja, who is prana, child, who is born here. And it is also said immediately that what they produce, this flame within, this psychic presence, praja, he is the parent of his parents. If you think of it, it is absolutely clear why, yes? Because there are no parents without the child. So the child is producing parents at the same time. They are becoming parents because of the child. So he is their parent, so to say. He makes them parents, even without going into the mystical kind of explanation. So here is also interesting thing. And so, dvisha uta tvaya vayam dhara udaniya iva ati gahemahi dvishach, again dvishach. And so by thee may we plunge and pass beyond all hostile forces as through the streams of rushing waters. It's as if layer upon layer, dharach, udaniyach, Vishwa, all these universal streams or layers of consciousness, which are kind of preserving us, withholding us, and at the same time, we need to go through them one by one, yeah, and go through all the hostility they may produce, or the sustainability they would want to have with us, to keep us in their own field. And with your help, may we, by diving deep, move beyond all flooding streams and dualizing hostile powers. Dualizing hostile powers are on all of these levels, one by one. Of course, till certain height. After certain level, they are not there. But they're still there on the mental level. On the mental level, there are asuric powers. Yeah? On the vital level, there are rakshasic, and on the subtle physical, there are this paishachic and so on, bhutas on the physical level. So there are all kinds of creatures everywhere. And these are only negative, hostile creatures, but there are also positive creatures like Gandharvas and Apsarasas. They have their own egoistic, demands and wishes, and so they also can withhold you. The moment you dedicate yourself to one deity, you become the bhakta of that deity, and that's it. You restrict yourself. You don't move forward. You become narrowed down to one particular deity and its egoistic presence and demands. His egoistic divine presence, much vaster and much more luminous, but still limiting your progress as a supreme.
I think in Savitri, he says no, that the region of the subtle physical is something that kind of limits you because you don't want to progress beyond it. So something like that.
Yeah, and you remember 3 powers of the mother which came to her, and that everybody claimed to be her soul, and she recognized that it is not, and she had to leave them behind, that they were so attracting the soul. Everybody would love to be one of them.
I don't know this one.
There's the whole passage. Mother meets 3 powers of the compassion, and maybe I will find the passage.
The mother of sorrows, 7 sorrows.
Sorrows, yes.
The mother of might.
Right.
And
she has,
the last,
and the last one.
The last one is the mother of. I am forgetting. I don't want to say the wrong.
Maheshwari, Durga, and
No. It's in Savitri we are talking about.
Yes.
The 3 Madonnas.
3 Madonnas, absolutely. These 3 Madonnas are, when she moves in search of her soul, it's the finding of the soul, canto, I think. And they come one by one, and they lured her, they offer her their powers as the soul powers, and she recognizes that they are not.
The triple soul forces.
Yeah. So can you read these 3 Madonnas, please?
Yes. The first one is quite a long one.
No, their names. We will remember. Not the passage. Who are they? The mother of sorrow, the mother of
might.
The second one is might.
Okay.
And might. And the third one is. Just give me a minute. Might. And the third one is Mahalakshmi. So he is the mother who heals.
I forgot the third one. Well, we don't need to do it now, but there are powers which are, you can read it yourself, Prito.
Oh,
And
sorry, suffering, might, and light.
light. So even limitation by light can be done, yeah, and by might, and by compassion suffering, yeah, because she is suffering all of she could take any suffering and go with it and feel pity for their being and try to, this is the compassionate power. But they are very huge for the human mind and for the human being. And if we meet one of those, we would be totally kind of taken by them. But they are not the soul. Yeah, soul is free. And that has to be discovered. So it is the same topic. We are coming to the same topic, that we are surrounded by all kind of forces, yeah, hostile and positive, divine helpers and hinderers, but at the same time, none of them is us. They're here instrumental for our development, and we have to look at them in this way. Because the Supreme in us wants to be free in the individual frame. We are working for Him. We are His workers. Yeah. And then, I don't see the time. Yes, we have still time. Shuchich Pavaka Vandiyach Agni Brihad Virojase Tuvam Gharitebhich Ahuta. O cleansing fire, thou art pure and adorable, Vandiyach. Vast is the beauty of thy light, fed with the clarities, Gharitebhich. Gharita is the ghee, yes, the purified butter, clarified butter. O pure and purifying force, my interpretation. You are the one who is to be invoked and praised, Vandiyach. O Agni, illumine all the vastness. For you, O Agni, illumine all the vastness. You are invoked by the clarities of mind. I'm taking this from Sri Aurobindo, Gharita, the clarities in the mind, or of the mind. It's interesting because the symbolism here is amazing. The cow gives the milk, yeah, and the milk is the knowledge. Then the knowledge has to be refined. It has to become butter. And then butter has to become ghee, clarified, burned on the fire for a long time until everything is gone but the very that luminosity and heat and that which sustains forever, which lives forever, is some kind of the symbolism of this immortal being distilled and purified in the mind as knowledge. And that is the food for Agni, the best food. Agni is flaming immediately from it. That's why all these rituals in India, they pour ghee into the fire. You know? It came as a physical symbol from the psychological symbol of the Veda.
It's also golden in color.
It's golden in color, and Ghrita means heated up, and it's warm. Heated up because ghari, ghar, you have ghar in Hindi, yeah? Gharm also, the summer. Gharm, ghar, these are the words which are from root ghri, to heat up, yeah, to make it hot. So can you imagine the clarity heated up by fire? So it has a power in it and it has consciousness in it, both. So he is Shuchich, luminous, pure, and Pavaka, purifying. Tuvam no asi bharata agne vashabhich ukshabhih, ashtapadibhih ahutach, again ahutach, you are invoked, of fire, of the bringers, Bharata. Thou art called by our bulls and our heifers and by our 8-footed kine, literally. Sri Aurobindo has a footnote, 2 footnotes. Called by is fed with, by our bulls and by our barren and pregnant kine. Ashtapadi means they're literally 8-footed because it's a pregnant cow. Ashtapadi, she has 4 feet already. 4 hers and 4 of the child inside. I am translating, O Bharata's offspring. O Agni, you are invoked and offered with our bulls, our cows, barren and pregnant. You are invoked with or by our bulls, our cows, and barren and pregnant. And here I noticed something interesting. Why all these are mentioned? Why not simply by cows, by gobi, simply, yeah, meaning all of them? No, there's specificity by vashabhih, ukshabhih. So there is something which is important. And it's interesting that the bulls and cows, barren and pregnant, bull is the self, the symbol of the self, the being, Sat, always in the Veda. Barren cow is a most probably symbol of Shakti, potential power of the self inherent in him before creation, which is not creating yet, which is not carrying yet the child of his. She is not manifesting him yet. So that in the occultistic system, Kabbalistic system, it is Isis, the mother whose face is veiled, covered with a veil. Nobody saw her face ever, because she is a potential energy. She didn't reveal herself yet. She's hidden to us, but she is the inherent, intrinsic part of the being. And finally, the one who is pregnant, who carries 8-footed, that means she has a calf. Maybe not even pregnant, but already has a calf, feeds the calf. The pregnant cow is bearing the child or having a child of the Lord. She is in the process of creation. So basically, there are 2 prakritis, para and apara, manifested and unmanifest, higher and lower, aditi and diti in the Vedic language. And there is the being, the self, the Purusha. So all of these, Purusha, the Paraprakriti and the Aparaprakriti with all her forces, they are calling upon him, Agni, supporting him. Well, these 2, Para and Apara, could be also compared with 2 mothers of Agni, yes? The dawn and the night, the light and the night, darkness.
I have a question.
Yes. Please.
If the higher is the manifested and lower is the unmanifested, then why is also higher calling for the divine flame?
No, higher is unmanifested, lower is manifested. Everything lower hemisphere is manifested, yeah? So we are in the lower hemisphere of mind, vital and physical. The higher hemisphere is Satchitananda, yes? It is always transcendental, it's not manifested. It is being manifested through the supermind. In the supermind, Satchitananda is being reshaped, recaptured in the manifested terms and projected first as overmind creation and then one by one, plane by plane, triple overmind, and then triple mind, and then triple vital and triple physical. Yes, why the higher hemisphere invokes the flame? Because, and why the Lord himself, the Supreme, invokes the flame, Purusha, because of one particular thing. He wanted to be many. So this is his enterprise. It is his dealing. It is him who is doing it through his prakritis. Yeah? But it is his intent. We are following his desire to be many. Bahusyam, may I be many. This is how creation started. And we are the psychic beings. It's a good news for you again, Farito, representing him here in his growth in the individual frame. And then, number 6, and it is the last, and we will stop here. Darvannah sarpirasotich pratnohota vareniyach sahasas putro adbhutach. This is the last invoking Gayatri. This is the eater of the tree for whom is poured the running butter of the light. The running butter of the light, Sarpich, is the same as Agaritam in the Veda. Only it is from root Sri to flow. This is the desirable, the ancient, the priest of the call, the wonderful, the son of force. It's the amazing verse, because if you look at this, we will have, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 nominative cases. There is no verb, only definitions of Agni, whose food is daru, tree, or the soma delight. Sarpir asutich, who partakes of the oblation of the clarified butter. Pratnach, the ancient, Hota, the invoker of the higher powers of the divine, of all those gods who do not want to come. Vareniach, the most desirable, the most choosable, the most wanted for our choice. Sahasas Putrach, the son of Sahas, of the force. Adbhutach, the beyond one, or the wonderful. That's it. There are no verbs needed. Everything is in the epithets to Agni. All right, I will stop here. So if you have... Oh, Rajiv is with us. Our friend Rajiv is here.
Hi, Vladimir. Thank
Hi,
you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely that you could join us. So if you have anything to share or at the end, or to, if there are some questions, please. I guess we clarified everything here in the small hymn. What else do you want to know? Yeah? Yes, Akinshik.
Yeah. I was just saying the earlier 2.5, 2.6 and 2.7 probably we have not got the documents.
Oh, okay. I will send you
2.6 and 2.7.
All right.
That is today's. Thank you.
You always remember. I am always forgetting this to do.
And I am always reminding. So sorry about that.
Very nice. I know at least somebody is looking into those papers.
I'm also not getting your emails, Vladimir, that you send before the class, before the session.
I didn't send anything before the session. It is the same link, so you can come every time. Sometimes I send Om, sometimes I just don't. Should I send all the time Om before? That means I have to be there sending Om. No?
That's
The same
I
link.
just said because I just wanted to be sure if I'm like if you're sending some documents, then I get it. That's why.
Oh yeah, no, you are on the list. You should get it.
I had one more question, Vladimir. We use the word Uta 2-3 times in 2-3 hymns.
Yes.
Uta.
Uta
Does
is
it always is? Sorry?
cha. End. Uta is end.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Vedic cha.
Okay.
Classical cha, mata pita cha. You can use uta instead of cha.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Uta is more than cha. It's like in addition, something. Plus two.
Vladimir,
Hmm.
in the 6th verse, why is the tree, capital T, it says, you said it is the Soma delight.
Yes.
So the tree is the symbol?
Of the greenery, yes. Tree is the soma delight, the sensual delight, which is embodied here in the greenery, that animated matter which becomes our food. You know? Our being is built, our bodies are built from this soma. Yeah, if soma would not be there, if that cell which multiplies would not be there, yeah, then there would be no embodiment in the material form.
Yeah.
And interestingly, it is a delight. Tadvanam, that delight, that forest. Forests are a symbol of the delight. One root is to enjoy, to win, to enjoy. And soma is that the extract or the pressed out juice, sap of that living energy, which is giving us energy to live, which is enjoyment at the same time. Yeah, all right. Okay, I will close with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Namaste.
Hari Om.